Hello guys and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you the Battlegroup preview for the 9th Panzer, which is one of the new divisions for the second wave DLC. So this is not a battle group overview. I will be doing those a couple of weeks after the release of the DLC, and just so you guys know, this was recorded pre-release, so some things may have changed. Let's jump in with the Recon though and start to have a look at some of the Recon units that the 9th Armour presents. So first of all, the Panzer 1C. We haven't seen this before. New addition to Steel Division. Very cool little unit. Has the 3 AP to take on half tracks and light armour, as well as the HE value on the machine gun to help pin down infantry. Not going to pin down infantry too quickly in comparison to like other MGs in general, but it's just nice that it's an armoured vehicle. That's what I was looking for. And you can get these like 1-star veterancy in Phase A, so they can be pretty damn useful. You can also get your standard Battlegroup in Phase A, as well as Phase B. You have to bring them in half tracks, which makes them a little bit more expensive, but worth bringing in for the very high optics, of course. And 2-star veteran Battlegroup in Phase B might actually be able to fight for you just a little bit, so that's something to be wary of. In Phase B, you can also bring in SBW 2341s and 2343s. So there's that. And that's pretty much the Recon tab. I'm just really like these Panzer 1Cs. And it's just interesting because it introduces a new style of play, relying on like light armor. And this is definitely something that the 9th Panzer really focuses on. The other thing to note is that you'll see over the phases, it's especially apparent in the infantry tab, the availability tends to stay the same, but the veterancy gets better. So bringing in a unit or card late for extra availability isn't necessarily the case. You've got to play around the extra veterancy in the late game instead. By the way, let's have a look at this infantry tab. Pretty standard stuff. There's nothing too new here. We've got Panzergrenadier, which are your standard command infantry. You've got Panzergrenadiers in Opel Blitz trucks, which is nice and cheap. Then you've got Sturm Pioneers in the 251-1s, which might actually be used in the early phases to put a lot of pressure onto towns and forests, depending on what map you're on. So give some sort of versatility to the 9th Panzer, which is quite cool. Then you've got the Panzergrenadiers available in 251-1s as well, instead of just the Opel Blitz trucks, and some MG42s. Pretty standard stuff, 9HE, 800 meter range, and then you have Pionierführer in the 251-9s available in Phase A. Now this is a bit different because normally you wouldn't see these 251-9s until the later phases, but they are incredibly useful half tracks, and being able to bring one in like early on is really nice for supporting your infantry. So I would probably recommend bringing in like the Pionierführer instead of the Panzergrenadier early on. In Phase B, however, you can see the veterancy increases across the board, and we have the Panzergrenadier with the extra star there. We've got Pioneers available with the two 20HE power grenades, so allowing you to contest those forest areas that you may have lost, or just push into towns more effectively. You get Panzergrenadiers, more of these, but only available in half tracks in Phase B. Same goes for the MG42. So pretty expensive infantry and reinforcements in Phase B, and it might be worth like focusing on Panzergrenadiers in Phase A and then Pioneers only in Phase B. And you also get access to more of the Pionierführer in the 251-9s, which is a nice addition as well. And 3-star 251-9s can definitely do a lot of damage. And then, as you can see in Phase C, super elite Panzergrenadiers and Pioneers available. So you're going to be wanting to save a couple of slots for some of those, as they will definitely be useful. But just got to be careful with your availability by the looks of things in the infantry tab, but other than that, all is okay. Pretty standard and nothing too new. In the tank tab, this is a pretty fun tab. We've got the Befehl Panzer II in Phase A. We've seen this before. But what we haven't seen before is the Panzer II Lux. Now this is actually in the tutorial, and I knew that this would be added into the game eventually, but here it finally is, presented in the 9th Panzer, and it comes with 4 AP power, 9 HE on that gun as well. It's basically a standard 20mm autocannon with the 7 HE on the machine gun, and this thing is so rapid. 40 km per hour off-road speed, 80 km per hour on-road speed. I mean, it just whips around all over the place and really does the job. It's very, very cool. Panzer IIc as well. Sort of can kind of keep up, but not maybe as fast as it would like to be to keep up with the Panzer II Lux. But this is an absolute fantastic fire support unit early on in the game. Just so damn quick. And imagine using these, like the combination that I just literally get wet dreams over is the Panzer I, Panzer IIc and the Panzer II Lux. Like that sort of Blitzkrieg Phase A combo can be so damn good. And you could maybe overrun like AT guns with that sort of combination. You just got to be careful about the heavier tanks, maybe like Stuarts and like, yeah, you'd have to be pretty careful about Stuarts actually, and also just M4 Shermans in general, because you don't have the AP power to really contest those. Now in Phase B, we're gaining access to the Panzer IV-J, 1-star veterancy, which is quite cool, and high availability as well. You can bring in one of these a minute in Phase B. You can also get the Befehl Panzer IV to accompany them, and the Panzer IV-H. It's not really worth bringing in the Panzer IV-H over the Panzer IV-J, because the only thing that you get better with the Panzer IV-H is the side armor. So there's that, and yeah, it's just not worth it. So one card of Panzer IVs and the Befehl Panzer H would probably do the job. You can also gain access to Stugs, but Panzer IV-J is doing a similar job. I guess the only benefit here is that the Stugs have higher veterancy. And in Phase C, you get access to even more Panzer IVs, and I can just imagine like the sheer availability of Panzer IVs is just going to be completely overwhelming, especially considering in Phase C you got the same income as you do in Phase B, 125 points, and that is enough to again bring out one every minute. And it's pretty insane. Like having a card of these Panzer IV-Js, like 8 more available, is just going to work out so well. But I would definitely be bringing in these two-star Tiger E's, since they are the best tanks that you gain access to, and it is like I said before, a classic sort of Blitzkrieg division. You've got your early sort of infantry and light armor push, and then you follow it up with like heavier and heavier armor, and it's very, very cool. I really like the dynamic that is introduced with this division. As for the support tab, this is a pretty cool tab. It's got a nice amount of variants, but not many activation points to really take advantage of. So you have the 258s available, which is the half track with the 9 HE power 75mm gun. You've got quite low amount of supply available. Like the availability of these Opel Blitz munitions isn't great in Phase A, so you probably want to wait until Phase B or C, where you can also get Opel Blitz munitions. But you can get Flam Panzers, so I expect these to be used. And again, in conjunction with the Panzer combo and the Infantry combo, bringing in like a Flam Panzer to push a town and stuff, it's going to work out very nicely. Then in Phase B, you get access to the SDKFZ 263, which doesn't have the autocannon on it, it just has the 34 MG34. And then you have the Grille, which is the 27 HE power 1000 meter range unit. And I don't think these are going to be used too much, but the initial forces, the 258s, the Flam Panzer, and these 263s, I think are going to make a showing quite often. As for anti-tank, this is nothing we really haven't seen before. It's the Panzerschrecks, pretty standard stuff. 1-star veterancy, which is quite nice. You can set up quite a lot of ambushes with these. Then you've got Pak 38s, plenty of availability, and a couple of Marder 3 Ms as well. And these have 1-star availability, so 13 AP power, pretty decent. 1,200 meter range, glass cannons. Got to be careful of like bombing strikes, I guess, moving into the later phases, but bringing in one of these in phase A might be an idea, just to give you a bit of punching power. Then moving into phase B, more Pak 38s, but just increased veterancy. Pak 40s now available as well in phase B, alongside more Marder 3s, including a 2-star Marder 3M, which could be very useful for, again, punching through tanks and so on that are getting in your way, just from out of range of them. Then we've got in phase C access to the Pak 40s with 1-star veterancy and Jagdpanzers. And I think Jagdpanzers are going to find their way onto the field quite often with this division. Maybe only one card of them. Just do it like a company, the Tigers that you're going to be bringing out, because they are still like pretty decent units moving into phase C and can take on a lot of the allied armor. And that's pretty much the anti-tank tab. Nothing's too special there. Anti-air, again, nothing we haven't seen before. Flak 38 20mm in phase A, along with the 250 117, which is basically the 20mm on back of a half track. You've got the Flakvilling on a half track there in phase A, and those would probably be preferable over any of the 20mm, although setting up like a Flak 38 field on the ground, like spending 160 points to bring in like all of those, could be worth doing. It just I don't know, it depends. Flak 36, you've got 1000 meter range on those with 1-star veterancy, which is quite nice. Another half track with the Flakvillings, you've got some mobile wagons, and then you've got the Flak 88 there in phase B. Unvetted, but still might be useful. And then you get 2-star veteran Flak 88s in phase C with more mobile wagons. So yeah, I don't know, it's a pretty standard anti-air sort of tab. I'm not too convinced with what I'm actually going to be bringing in. It looks like you'd probably be relying on these Flak 36s and Flak 88s for the most part. And yeah, that's your lot for anti-air. Artillery, again, bit of a lackluster tab. You've got access to 1200 meter range mortar carriers in phase A, and I would definitely recommend bringing in more availability than just the one on its own. Then in phase B, you do get a BEO Panzer IV with the 173mm off map, as well as providing you a Panzer IV. And this isn't actually a bad pickup for this division at all. Same goes for the 2-star Panzer IV in phase C. It's yeah, a pretty nice tank to bring in, honestly. 2-star Panzer IV. Lacks armor, of course, but just the fact that it comes with 3 off-map strikes is pretty nice. If you want the consistent artillery, though, the Hummel is where you're going to have to go. And I'm not a massive fan of the Hummel, honestly. But that's your artillery tab. As for the air tab, again, simple stuff. Recon planes in phase A. You've got the Focke-Wulf 190A8 available. You got the Me-109G2 BR-21s with the 25 HE power rockets. More Focke-Wulfs available in phase B. You get Focke-Wulf 190G3s with the 5 HE power bombs. Not really worth bringing in. However, in phase C you do get the G1s, which have the 25 HE power bombs, which are the ones that are fantastic for like one-shotting AT guns. So these might be worth just saving for in your air tab, along with a few Focke-Wulf 190s. And yeah, that's your lot. So I'm really looking forward to using the Panzer 1s in combination with the Panzer 2s in the early phases, and then sort of rolling on from there. It's going to be quite an aggressive division, and that's very welcome to me in Steel Division. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that quick look at the 9th Panzer. I will be doing a full battle group overview in the future, but in the meantime, that's all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.